Hi, my name is Tommy, also known as TTao. I just started playing Destiny 2 with Shadowkeep, so I've only been playing for around 2 to 3 months. I think I'm an average player. I normally play strategy games and the occasional MOBA, so Destiny 2 is my first real FPS. I was able to reach Legend in Season 8 and in Season 9 with a KD of around 1.2 and a win rate of around 60%. I had a fire team for all of Season 8 and for most of Season 9. Towards the end of Season 8, I actually did some legend carries in LFG groups on the companion app and a few other places just to see if I could, and I helped carry a few people to legend. In Season 9, I soloed competitive from around competitive rank 4700 to 5500 glory. My stats are, I would say, nothing impressive. You can see here, I do have a 60% win rate, but if you take a look, my KD and my KD are like, 1.1, 1.2. I do have a lot of kills, just mainly from melee, and I'll show some of those stats later. But what I want to show you that is I'm an average player. I don't carry whole games where I'm doing, 5.0. I'm not doing spectacular things, but I'm able to consistently win. And this whole video series is really designed to help you reach legend in competitive. Whether you're a beginner PvP player or you are stuck at a certain level in comp, the tips and tricks that I'm going to be sharing with you today will really help improve your game and really help you reach up into that legend rank. This video is going to be covering micro skills, specifically 1. Hitting your shots, 2. Movement and using cover, 3. Radar awareness. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and if you find this series helpful or you improve your rank based on some of the things I shared today, please go ahead and hit that like button. That's really going to help out this channel. I'm going to be releasing a bunch of new videos soon as well, so if you want to be notified as soon as that comes out, go ahead and hit that bell. Now let's get right into the gameplay. So I've loaded into Tribute Hall, and the first thing we're going to be talking about is your ADS sensitivity. So as you can see, I'm landing crits. What I want you to do is go ahead and pick a mob, and I want you to sort of quick scope into them, right? And if you notice that you're consistently under scoping like this, that means your sensitivity is too low. Now, if you're overshooting like this, that means your sensitivity is too high. You want to go ahead and make sure that every time you quick scope, you're at least close to the target. You want to practice this a few times until you're consistently getting that quick scope and getting that crit. Now, different weapons are going to feel different, so I would say you want to try this with the weapons you want to include in your loadout. If you're able to quick scope and get those crits consistently, that's going to give you that extra edge in those gunfights, where someone, for example, is hard scoping or missing some of their shots. You're going to land every single one of your crits. Now, the next thing we need to practice is to actually move and shoot at the same time, so you can strafe left and right. This is just an example. You want to make sure you're hitting your crits. Doing this a few times will really get you familiar with the shot pattern and recoil pattern of your gun, so make sure that you're landing your crits consistently, especially in the heat of the moment. Next thing we want to practice is aerial shooting. Specifically, I want you to jump and move across the map and try to land as many crits as you can see on the screen here. This is going to give you that extra edge in those vertical fights. And the next thing we need to practice is slide shooting. So I want you to slide and land those crits. As you can see, it's a little hard. I would say I had a few friends that we were doing this with, and slide shooting, unless you've been playing Shotgun A for a while, it feels weird, but I highly recommend you get that skill really down pat, because we're going to be building on that foundation in a moment. The next thing we're going to be covering is movement. So I'm going to cut into a clip of my friend Justin, and I'm going to be showing you what it looks like on his side. So I'm going to walk across from cover to cover, right? And you can see you can get off a few shots off. I'm going to do that again. Next, I'm going to be sprinting into cover. Next, I'm going to be showing a jump into cover. As you can see, a little harder to catch, but there's a moment delay. And next is sliding. As you can see from the clip, he was easily able to 3-shot me as I was walking, but as I started changing my movement, adding in that vertical space, it was harder and harder to shoot. So I loaded back up the Tribute Hall, and we're going to be practicing those movements, specifically jumping into cover and sliding into cover. We're going to be using these two pillars here. And we're going to be using Callus statue as a reference point. Imagine that's the enemy guardian. So I want to make sure that you move and you can't see the statue. Next, this is going to be showing you an example of someone that's undershooting a slide. This is one of the most common ways I see Guardians die. They're trying to move between cover, but they're unable to make it because they misjudge their distance. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that your mobility stat and certain mods will affect this behavior. So you need to try this out on your character to get a feel for it. The next piece of this is radar awareness. Specifically, when do enemies show up on your radar? There's going to be 4 main ranges: off radar, outer ring, middle ring, and inner ring. So I'm testing right here with Darcy, so you can see on the bottom left corner of the Darcy ADS scope how far someone is. You can see that someone gets right into the outer ring at 47 meters. Here I am testing it again, just testing a few times to make sure I get that perfect distance. And now I'm going to be going to check the middle ring. As you can see, it is 23 meters. Next, we're going to be checking the inner ring. As you can see on Darcy, it is 5 meters when it approximates into the inner ring. I'm just trying to get that perfect distance right there. So what's important about this is knowing your engagement ranges. When you're looking at your radar and it just goes into the outer ring, you know that they just crossed that 47-meter threshold. If they hit into the middle ring, then you know they're within 23 meters. And if they are within that inner circle, they are within 5 meters of you. The next thing we got to talk about is actually using a bit of movement. So you're rotating your radar to get an exact positioning of your enemy. So as you can see there, right where the 2 intersect is where the enemy is. Here it is from another angle, as you can tell. It helps you pinpoint their location. The next thing we're going to talk about is crouching and how it actually takes you off your enemy's radar. As you can see, when you're crouching, you still do show up on the radar, but you disappear for a moment. And when you're sliding, it does the same thing. See how you disappear off the radar for a moment? This is especially important when you want to flank or surprise your opponent, and in higher level comps, everybody's just watching the radar all the time. The next thing you want to know is that during elevation changes, your radar actually turns from a dark to a lighter color. So when someone's on a different elevation from you, as you can see from the top, this is especially useful if you turn around a corner and the enemy has jumped and gone vertical, for example. In summary, if you're able to land your shots and hit those crits, if you're able to move into and around cover effectively, and you're able to be aware of your opponents due to your radar, and be able to sort of disappear off their radar with the correct amount of sliding and crouching, you're going to have an advantage in your 1v1 fights, as well as be able to secure advantages for your whole team. In the next video in the series, I'm going to be talking about macro skills, specifically what kind of builds should you have, how do you choose the right build for you, what kind of loadouts should you have, what are the weapon ranges so that you can fight in those correct engagement ranges for the weapon type that you have, team fighting and team advantages, map awareness, objectives, and finally some mindset about how you want to approach each Crucible game and to be able to improve your game consistently. This is one of the first videos in a series that I want to start, so I would love some feedback from you guys. Any ways I can improve, any topics you really want to cover, any specific questions. In the builds and weapon loadout guys, I will be going over TTKs and we'll be having a lot of fun with spreadsheets. So I'll see you guys soon. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, and if you're new, please hit that subscribe. I'll see you soon. All right, right here. All
I
right,
want a
so
good map for this. Jap 4 is perfect.
because you love Jeff with your fighting lot.
No,
And
honestly, Jap 4
not
is the.
shoot. I'm making a goddamn
Listen.
video. Do not shoot your heavy. If you shoot your heavy, all right. So, fucking, I'm gonna Aaron tell you now. Just preemptively do that shit. Get the fuck out of here. All right. We'll talk about supers. I'll probably have to show supers in a different video. Yeah. So that's it. That's all the video I needed, man. That was perfect.
I will
Perfect.
send you my clip.
Yes, sir. And that's gonna be a clip of him landing that crispy knife headshot right there.